Howdy, Ags. Welcome to Aggie Growth Hacks, the podcast sponsored by the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M, where we are dedicated to helping entrepreneurs improve their business, connect with other Aggie entrepreneurs, and support one another. I'm your host, Greg Martin, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2001.
And I'm your co-host, Chris Hunter, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 1998. Whoop!
Well, we got a little story for you, Ags. Jason Anawaty, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 1996, is the president of Cypress Signs and Graphics, a part of the 2023 Aggie 100 class of fastest growing entrepreneurs. This is his second time of being on this prestigious list. Jason is an entrepreneur that takes immense pride in what he and his team have built, and it is obvious that they're doing something right.
So pass it back and listen up to Jason as he shares some really good bull.
Welcome back, Ags. Today's episode of Aggie Growth Hacks is we're actually recording it on a super special day. This is Aggie 100 Day, the day that every year that we celebrate Aggie entrepreneurs and the 100 fastest growing Aggie owned and operated companies. And our guest today is a two-time back-to-back Aggie 100 winner. So Jason, thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations again on another Aggie 100 win.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate your invite to be here.
Well, we love having entrepreneurs and highlighting their stories and telling other Aggies about where we are in the entrepreneurial journey. So tell us a little bit about yours.
Well, long story short, from East Texas. Grew up there ever since, probably 2 years old. Did a few tours of colleges, and then I finally got smart and attended A&M. So finished my degree here, went to the workforce, was in the workforce, corporate America, roughly 6-8 years, and decided I've had enough of this, and started my first venture, which was a used car dealership. I wanted to change the industry.
What, were you in the auto industry before?
No. Had a friend of a friend that was successful in it. He decided, I went to him and said, hey, can you help me out? I want to learn the business. And he said, come on. So started that venture and learned real fast how not to run a business. That was my major takeaway. But I was able to change business models, ended up selling it to a partner and moving on. So always had that entrepreneur spirit. I came from a family. My dad was an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. So it was just kind of in my blood to do something on my own. So in and out of the workforce, trying to figure it out. And then I started this and have never looked back. So here we are. Going to celebrate 8 years in business next month.
Awesome. So what is this?
Cypress Signs and Graphics. We're a custom sign and banner company, promotional products. Started with a handful of clients, helping out a friend that had struggled with the business. And so I came in and took it over. And from that point, we worked together for a couple of years. Then it came to the point where, okay, what are we really doing here? Is this going to be a couple people owned business and, make a decent living, or is it time to blow this out of the water and really go after it?
Obviously you chose option B.
Yeah. So, I got to that point and had to make some tough decisions and take some big chances. And luckily I had a great support system, a wife that's very successful. So she could hold down the fort while allowing me to play business owner. And now we're going on 10 employees, probably grow that, future growth looking. So it's an exciting time.
And just for our audience, where are you located? Where is Cypress?
Cypress, Texas.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right up the road or down the road.
Right.
Geographically challenged. Sorry.
So what's one thing that you learned while being a student at Texas A&M that has helped you in your entrepreneurial journey, would you say?
Well, they don't call us Fighting Texas Aggies for nothing. We are constantly having to fight for, everything that we have in the business world. Whether it's, more business or challenges that we've all been through COVID. So there was challenge after challenge after challenge, and, head down, just keep fighting and you'll get through it. So that was probably the biggest. You can't really ask me about classes. That was a long time ago. I can tell you some stories about that, but we don't have enough time. But really, the fighting spirit is instilled in me personally. And, I wanted to kind of expand on that if I could. What I think is really important is the Howdy tradition. Being the friendliest campus in the world is huge. And I don't think people focus on that enough. In my business, I love making people smile. I love communicating with the customers, whether they're just a one-time customer or what. I want them to have a good experience whenever they come into my shop or if I go out to see them. So part of that is the howdy. Every time I see somebody, stranger or not, I say howdy. And because it's going to bring a smile to someone's face. And I really feel I was put on the earth to bring a lot of smiles to people's faces. So,
well, and I think doing what you do, I can only imagine what it would be like to see your logo lit up for the first time in a new and amazing way.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a sense of pride, knowing that me and my team have built this. There's a lot of pride that goes into every piece of product that comes out of our shop. There's pride in it. So again, it's exciting. It's not the sexiest business in the world, but you know what? It's when people walk into my shop, again, I want them to have a positive experience, whether it's an interaction with some of my employees, me, telling a joke, listening to a joke. I want them to be comfortable and to know that, hey, I'm not just a sign company. We're human beings and we're making a difference in this world.
Well, Jason, as you're going through some very impressive growth, I mean, you were Aggie 100 winner last year, this year, and then based on what you said, it looks like I think we're going for number one in 2024. But growth is amazing, but it comes with challenges. And Absolutely. You said you're used to fighting. So what are some challenges that you are facing now, and how are you overcoming them?
So COVID is behind us for the most part. However, it still has its lingering effects when it comes to supply of raw materials, because a lot of that materials comes from overseas, and we can't control what happens overseas. So, constantly in contact with my suppliers. What's it looking like? Are supplies drying up? Do I need to stock up? Just because my customers, they don't really care what goes on behind the scenes. When they order something, they want it. So I'm not an excuses kind of guy. I don't want to give them a laundry list of excuses as to why they're not getting their finished product. So it's my job to make sure that doesn't happen. Those have been some challenges with growing and bigger equipment and new equipment. There's training that has to be, because this is high tech stuff. It's not stencils anymore in the sign business. It's latex printers, it's flatbeds, it's routers, it's heavy equipment that needs big machines to move if I ever decide to move places, which that's coming down the road. But those are some challenges. Personnel, in growth mode, when you first start out, it's kind of friends and family. Everybody's looking for a job and they want to be a part of it. But as you grow, you run out of friends and family that want to work for you. So that's been somewhat of a challenge. But, again, as a business owner, if something's going to work out or if it's not. And so it's your job to correct the things that don't work out
quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to key into something that you said a little bit earlier, right? That you made a choice are we going to be at this level or are we going to massively grow it? So what's helped you with that growth, would you say?
I think it's just been my vision and what I want out of this life. Did I want to make just a good living, a great living? And I think I talked about this in other conversations is, you get to the point as being a business owner, I also like to refer myself as an investor because I invest right back into my company.
Yeah.
But, when you first get into it and you're going to grow a company, it's about the money. I mean, let's be honest.
Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to pay their mortgage.
Let's drive a nicer car. Let's get a bigger house, that sort of thing. But and I remember this distinctively, there's a point where you look around and you've got 5 people working for you. You got 6 people working for you. You got 7 people working for you. And it's not about you anymore. It's about them. And it's about them having a better life. And it's about them getting health insurance. And it's about them, retiring and building their families and that sort of thing. So I'm not patting myself on the back. It's just being honest. It's not about me. It's about me helping raise other people up. A challenge really when you grow, because used to, I think every Monday morning or at least a couple times a week, I'd bring the team together and, okay, what needs to get out and talk through it. And, then as you grow, you kind of get away from that. My brother-in-law came to work for me, so he's in charge of the shop.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of the front office, growing the business and steering and all that good stuff. So, it's a different industry. It's a manufacturing industry. And, I've tried to have those conversations with the team, but they don't care.
Yeah.
They want their paycheck, and even the front office, they don't care.
Yeah.
They know that they got health insurance. They know that the company's growing. They know that they're getting bigger bonuses every year, because one of the ways that I bonus, and it's kind of a profit sharing, if you will. But at the end of the year, I bonus everybody based on throughout the year. If they came on earlier, then they have a smaller percentage, but a percentage of gross sales. So and the way that I communicate that to them is that's my way, because it's gross sales, of me making sure that I'm profitable.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm about to shell out a lot of money to give people, for your hard work.
Yeah.
And, I incentivize, and things have become traditions. For instance, I buy lunch for them every Friday. And so that's a little bit of a team building thing, because, as you grow, people start, well, Jason's going to pay for lunch. I'm going to go here and I'm going to here. Nope. You come in, it's door dashed. You sit at this person's computer, you type what you want. And because that's part of the team building is, hey, this is breaking bread together, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because there's a lot of stress in the job, because there's deadlines and there's files and there's computers and there's communication, and then there's errors, and then there's customer errors, and how do you go overcome all of that? And it's just a work through. And at the end of the day, it's, probably remember the coyote and the sheepdog. You go at it during the day and then you clock out and you're friends again.
That's right.
I mean, that's so.
Yeah. But I think the cool thing that I heard you say is that, and I'm a numbers guy, and the fact that you're bonusing based on gross, that to me, that does 2 things. That brings everybody into the profitability discussion. The guys that are on the shop floor know that if they waste that vinyl, that's going to cut into your gross sale, your gross profit. So that's going to hurt. And the team that's not on the shop floor knows that if they go and buy, too many reams of paper, that's going to drop the bottom line. But everybody's coming in and saying, okay, we have to be profitable. We're going off gross, but then you're going to look at it and be like, okay, gross profit's great, but if I allow my other expenses to balloon too much.
I hate overpromising and not being able to deliver. I spent my last weekend in the shop putting together banners, because I have a large customer that wanted them on Monday. And I didn't want to ask my people, I didn't have anything to do. So I went in the shop, because I'll get down with them. This is me dressed up, but a lot of times you'll see me in a sweaty t-shirt, and cargo shorts, and probably bleeding somewhere. But I'm in it with them. I can't ask them to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Yeah.
And I'm capable of doing it still at this ripe young age of 50. But Yeah.
So having the right people is super critical.
Absolutely.
But as the leader, you talked about having to make the decision, and the decisions that don't work out, shift away from those quickly.
Correct.
How do you communicate to your team? Okay, this is the vision. This is how we're going to grow year over year over year. Is it just rah, 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 do more, faster, better? Or is it more strategic? We're going to start entering into specific areas or geographically grow.
The way that I have it structured currently is, I'm in constant contact with my people all the time, because I'm just the captain. They're the ones on the front lines, having the issues, whether it be, supply issues or, technical issues, or machine goes down or something. So they're the ones fighting on the front lines. But I encourage them, and we have an open door of communication. A lot of people say it, but they don't. They don't really have it because they're too scared. I go to them all the time and say, okay, how can we fix this? I need your advice on this. Should we switch materials? Would this be better? Because I rely on them to give me that feedback so that I can make a sound decision. Mm-hmm. Part of being a business owner is being a good decision maker, which is extremely critical. So, I let them in on, hey, this is our growth plan. We eventually want to be in a building that has a men's and women's bathroom, which is important. I hear it from the women all the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, at the pace we're growing, we'll be in that new facility here within the next couple of years. They're probably going to say couple of years.
You mean a couple of months, right, Jason?
Right. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
So one of the things that we talk about here on Aggie Growth Hacks is our vision, and really, where do you want to be? And you, sounds like you've got a lot of that. So what is your big, hairy, audacious goal for your company? What is your 5 to 10 year moonshot?
Things change so rapid, and 10 years is a long time. Personally, the way I see this company growing in 10 years, I'll probably be about 5 times larger than I am right now.
All right.
I'm still going to be working. I have no ambitions of selling. Some people are builders and sellers. I'm not. I'm an investor. And so I have my brother-in-law works for me. So I have children that I don't know if they'll want to be in the business when they're older, but there's some potential there. But I like to work. I like to watch the growth. I like to watch people grow. I like being called a hero whenever I drop off an emergency sign to a client. We get that a lot, and it's fun. It's a good feeling, but someone needed something and we were able to supply it. And so next 5 and 10 years, this is the fun part. There's no longer the stress of the first couple of years of starting a business. Now it's the stress of, hey, making sure that we're growing with our customers, that we're getting better on the daily basis. Because, when you get complacent, I think that's when you start not growing. And so we're going to stay in growth mode for the next several years to come.
And like you said, this is the fun part.
Yes.
To be able to say, okay, we figured out our system. We figured out how to sell. We figured out how to actually fabricate. We figured out how to install. And now we get to do that better and bigger and faster, and to see more smiles.
Absolutely.
This is the fun part.
Yes.
So, well, Jason, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Let's pause a second to hear a message from this episode's sponsor. Okay, we're back. So, Jason, we're going to roll into the lightning round. So, one rule, you got 30 seconds to answer every question.
Okay.
First question, what is your favorite personal hack?
Okay, it's something I learned recently. On taco night, you always have the fat that you have to drain before you put the mix in.
Uh-huh.
So I've never known what to do with the fat. You can't put it down the drain. So I get a bowl I put paper towels in it, put it in the bowl, ladle it out. The paper towels absorb the grease. You throw it away.
Throw it away. Easy peasy.
Yeah. I didn't watch TikTok to get that. I learned that myself the hard way.
Love that. All right. So what is your favorite business hack now?
I don't really have one because it's a shortcut, right? Mm-hmm. So there are no shortcuts.
There are no shortcuts in business.
No, you do it the right way the first time. Now, but I will, my favorite book on this, if we can talk about
that's perfect. Yeah.
Have you ever read Franklin Barbecue's, Aaron Franklin's book? It's not a recipe book. It's about his story.
I've watched all of his YouTube.
Yeah. So he has a book out. But I read it. I'm not a big book reader, but I read that because I want to cook Franklin Barbecue's brisket.
Yeah.
But it just talks about his journey, how his first smoker was from a $99 one from Academy. But he learned it. He learned how to cook a brisket. And, now he's wildly successful. And not only, because in a restaurant, if you have one restaurant, you're maxed out. There's only so many hours in the day. Mm-hmm. But now you go to HEB and there's Franklin Barbecue or Franklin briquettes. They're the best. There's barbecue sauces. So he's expanded his empire and, is able to feed the masses, so to speak, with still having that one little restaurant.
That's pretty cool to be able to take an entrepreneurial lesson from a barbecue.
Absolutely.
I mean, their business too. I don't know. I couldn't have that business because I don't think that I would make a profit.
I can't wake up that early to start smoking a brisket.
Right.
I put it on the night before and stick the little thermometers in, and when it beeps, it's ready to go.
That's awesome. So Jason, what is the best bit of advice that you've been given, and 96 Aggie points if you can tell us how you applied it?
The best business advice, I really think, is to build a company that's profitable. Don't grow just to grow. Build it to be profitable. In this journey, I've come across, because people want to pull you in different directions. Well, you need to do this or you need to do this. Well, it's usually people that don't have any skin in the game telling you what you need to do. I've tried different avenues to make money, and I found that when it comes to outsourcing or whatnot, it's a drain on me and it's not profitable. So cut that out of the business. Focus on what makes you money and stick to that and be the best at it.
Love that. Absolutely love that. So how can the Aggie Network get in touch with you and support you moving forward?
Go to our website. You can email me directly. Our website is cypress-signs.com. Don't forget the hyphen, or else you'll be looking at a sign company in Florida. And then my personal email address is jason@cypress-signs.com. Phone calls, I get so much telemarketing phone calls. I just don't answer if I don't know the number. But email, you'll definitely get a response from me.
Well, Jason, thank you again for sharing your wisdom, for letting us spotlight you and your team. Congratulations on the amazing growth. I can't wait to celebrate with you tonight, but then also celebrate your number one win next year. But it's super excited. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, how about that, Ags? Was that pretty awesome or what? I know that I took a lot away from Jason. What were your biggest takeaways there, Greg?
Well, I loved where he talked about his growth, not only in the business, but as an entrepreneur, and how when he kind of started the business, it was, hey, I'm going to build this business. I'm going to do it for me and my family. I'm going to build something. But then the shift changed from an inward focused to an outward focused. And I think that's where he said, he really took out from a sense of growth and pride, where he started saying, how can I make my employees' lives better? And how can I make sure that they're achieving their goals? And as entrepreneurs, if you have employees, we want to take care of the people because they become like family, like work family. But when he deliberately focused on them and making their lives better, that was really powerful. And just to kind of hear his story behind that, it really motivated me. I don't have any employees yet, but when I hire my first employee, it's going to be with that heart and that mindset. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, and I fully agree with that. And that was pretty cool. I'd say mine has to go with his best advice that he was given, and that was built to be profitable. right? I mean, us entrepreneurs, when we first start out, we're basically giving away our services or products, and we have to do that at the beginning. We're told we have to do that at the beginning, to build that value with our customer base. But as we grow, sometimes if we don't grow that profitability with it, then we're going to end up as poor entrepreneurs, right? And
Yep.
and that's something that really rang true with me, because I for the longest time was basically giving away our services, and we weren't very profitable at all. So the second that we started selling our services at being profitable and starting valuing our own services in our own time, things started shifting a little bit there. So, it's, if you're listening to this as an entrepreneur and you're not quite sure about that, start looking at that profitability part, and honestly talk to Greg here. He can help you implement profit first, right?
Well, and I would also imagine, kind of building on that the amount of stress that you had before that shift and after that shift, it melts away. And because when you're not so focused about chasing cash flow and just working to make sure that you can pay the bills, instead chasing profit so that you can grow and invest in your business and achieve your dreams, that's a fundamentally different way of operating your business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing that with us. And Ags, if you're not connected with Jason, I highly suggest you do it. I mean, he wants to speak in to you and to other Aggie entrepreneurs and to be able to kind of get his perspective. That would be so awesome if y'all connected. If you're not connected with Aggie Growth Hacks or with Chris or I, make sure that you reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you think about the podcast, and if there's any way that we can make it more valuable to you.
We want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M University. Since 1999, the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship has served as the hub of entrepreneurship at Texas A&M. If you're an Aggie entrepreneur or even a wantrepreneur, head on over to their website right now to find a program that's right for you. Just go to aggiegrowthhacks.com/McFerrin. Well, Ags, join us next time when we connect with another great Aggie entrepreneur and learn how they hack their growth. Until then, I'm Chris Hunter.
And I'm Greg Martin. Thanks and gig 'em.